Hey guys, welcome to Decode NCRT, and today we are going to be talking about nutrition in animals. This is nothing but a 10th standard bio topic from the chapter Life Processes. So today I'm going to be explaining the human digestive system, as that is the main organ through which we get our nutrients, and nothing but our nutrients are absorbed in our body. So our human digestive system begins with our mouth and ends with the final opening at the bottom. That's nothing but our anus. So the mouth here consists of our tongue, which is located in our buccal cavity and also has teeth. So, since we are heterotrophs, we consume various kinds of food, which is obtained from both plants and animals, and they are of various textures and they are filled with various nutrients. So, our to get them all in a particular same texture and get them into very small pieces, the teeth help in mastication or nothing but breaking and grinding and crushing of these larger food particles into smaller food particles in the mouth. So that's nothing but mastication. And then our tongue helps, and then the tongue helps in rolling and making making a small ball out of this chewed food, which is mixed with saliva that's secreted by our salivary glands. So we all know that we have three pairs of salivas. One is under our ear, other one is near our cheeks, and other one is below our tongue. So whenever the saliva is secreted in our mouth, it consists of a digestive enzyme known as salivary amylase or ptyalin. So this salivary amylase helps in the breaking of carbohydrates into much simpler components like starch. So the first step of digestion happens in our mouth. That's nothing but the breakdown of starch into simple or breakdown of carbohydrates into simpler substances. So now after the saliva and the chewed small crushed particles are mixed and formed a ball, the tongue pushes this down through our esophagus. So now the esophagus is a long tube-like structure that extends from our mouth to our stomach. And at the entrance of our esophagus, we have small kind of a guard or a door. So this door helps in, it's like our, if you see here, our pharynx, so nothing but our nasal cavity also joins at the same point of our esophagus. So we have a kind of a gate or door known as our glottis, and that gate is known as glottis, and the that point is known as glottis, and the gate that is covering it is nothing but the epiglottis. So the epiglottis helps in covering the esophagus when we are breathing air, and it helps in covering the what do you say, the trachea when we are eating food, so that food doesn't fall into our respiratory tract. So the muscles in the esophagus, they undergo a special kind of rhythmic contractions and relaxation to form peristaltic movement that helps in pulling the food down through our esophagus. This is an involuntary movement and happens within our body with very much ease, and it is this is carried out by the muscles of our alimentary canal, nothing but our circular and longitudinal muscles present in our esophagus. We all know that our alimentary canal consists of four layers: outer serosa, middle muscularis, the third one mucosa, and this innermost submucosa. So the esophagus then comes and joins at the stomach, and there too it's guarded by another sphincter known as esopyrovic sphincter, the esogastro-sphincter. So the stomach here is a long muscular bag where the food comes in, and here the digestion of protein takes place. Nothing but the first step of digestion of protein takes place. So here the stomach performs two functions, the stomach cells, okay? So the stomach cells here, they release HCl that help in killing the bacteria or germs that enter with our food, and also provide a acidic medium for the activation of the pepsinogen enzyme to pepsin, and this pepsin helps in the breaking down of food. And also the stomach wall, even in the stomach wall here, there are few cells that secrete mucus, because when you all are aware that HCl is a very concentrated acid, and our stomach secretes that concentrated acid. So to protect this stomach inner lining from damage or abrasive action, so it secretes a mucus layer that protects this stomach inner wall. So the food that is coming out through the stomach here is very acidic in nature, and it is known as chyme, chyme. So this chyme passes through the small intestine through a small sphincter known as pyrovic sphincter that is attached between our stomach and intestine. So through peristalsis movement that happens throughout our gut, the food moves on to different parts of our alimentary canal. So it enters the first part of our small intestine known as duodenum. So now in duodenum, the different glands secrete their put their secretions that help in the final and complex digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So now the food that's coming here, you all know, is very acidic, and the pancreas here secretes something known as the trypsinogen, and this trypsinogen gas helps in the further breakdown of carbohydrates, but it needs an alkaline nature for the breaking down of food, that has to breaking down of carbohydrates, but the nature of the chyme or the food that's coming here is acidic. So how is it neutralized? So the liver here secretes something known as a bile juice that contains bile salts that helps in reducing the acidity of the food and providing an alkaline nature. Think about a basic nature for the conversion of trypsinogen to trypsin that helps in the breaking down of food, and also secretes and also secretes digestive enzymes like lipase that helps in the breaking down of fats, and also the bile juices help contain bile salts, and this bile salts help along with the bile juice help in the emulsification of fat. So emulsification is nothing but the breaking down of larger fat globules into smaller fat droplets. And now you know that our body keeps secreting a lot of bile juice 24 into 7. So the bile juice is stored temporarily into our gallbladder, and here in the gallbladder the concentration and temporary storage of the bile juice occurs. So the gallbladder is joins the uh, bile duct, forming the common hepato, the common bile duct. I'm so sorry for the fumble before. It forms a common bile duct and it enters into a duodenum along with the secretions of pancreas like trypsinogen, lipase, and also there are glands present in the walls of the small intestine known as interstitial glands that help, which also secrete various kinds of enzymes and digestive juices that help in the breaking down of the complex digestion process of carbohydrates, proteins, and fat. So the final step of digestion happens in our small intestine along with all these or with all this glands contribution. So the food that we consume that is rich in carbohydrates is broken down into glucose, and the food that is rich in proteins is broken down into amino acids, and the food that is rich in fats is broken down into fatty acids and glycerol. So now the digestion is finished. That is, but the breaking down of food is over into its simpler components. Now comes to the absorption of these nutrients, nothing but the simplest forms of this. So before entering through to the process, I want to tell about the two different kinds of cases of different kinds of small intestine lengths. So in herbivorous animals, the small intestine is said to be having a very large length because when compared to the normal conditions, because they eat a lot of carbohydrate rich food, so it needs lot of time and lot of surface area and lot of length of the small intestine for digestion. When compared to carnivores, they have a smaller intestine than normal condition because they eat protein rich diet, that they eat meat, and protein needs doesn't need much of uh, it doesn't need much more kind of complex space and process for the digestion of protein. So carnivores are said to be having small intestines, and herbivores are said to be having larger small intestines. It's longer small intestines. So now the absorption of this uh, fatty acids, amino acids, and glycerol and glucose happens with the help of the villi. These are nothing but finger-like projections present all around the small intestine, large parts. That is nothing but the ileum part. We all know that the small intestine has three parts: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. So these are finger-like projections present in a small intestine that help in the digestion. That help in the absorption of this digested food, and they are richly supplied with blood vessels so that this digested food can be carried and supplied to all parts of the body. So the small intestine joins into our larger intestine. Is also connected by sphincter, and this enters into a pouch-like structure known as cecum that has another, small, long thread-like extension known as appendix. And this appendix is nothing but a vestigial organ that is of no use, but it's also a secondary lymphoid organ, also known as the policeman of an intestine, and it helps in inflammatory reactions. That means it helps in providing immunity. So whenever you have food poisoning or something, the first organ that's affected is your appendix. So the appendix is nothing but a kind of sign that shows that they have evolved from the apes to the homid man to the modern man now. Nothing but a sign of evolution. So now the undigested food passes through our large intestine, forming the fecus, and here the large intestine tries to take out as much as water as possible, and it passes through three sections of the large intestine. So nothing but three parts of the colon: ascending colon, that's the colon that's going top, transverse colon, and the descending colon. And then the descending colon comes and joins into a rectum. That's nothing but a pouch-like structure that temporarily stores the fecus, and which is finally thrown out through the anus. So this is our digestive system, and this is our digestive system, and this is all for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed the video and learned a lot about the human digestive system, and the way how we obtain nutrition from it. So please do like, share, and comment on my videos, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. So that's all for today. Have a nice day. Thank you.